I had heard the stories about odd occurrences at my high school, but I had always dismissed them as rumors and teenage exaggerations. It was just another ordinary school, with no spooky vibes or haunted histories. That was until the day I arrived early for a makeup test. The school was as mundane as ever, with the usual hustle and bustle of students moving through the halls. I made my way to the basement where the testing room was located. It was well lit, thanks to the bright overhead lights, and the air was filled with the familiar scent of cleaning products. Room 113, the designated testing location, appeared perfectly ordinary. The desks were neatly arranged, and the windows let in the morning sunlight. There was nothing eerie about it, except for one thing: a portrait of the school's former janitor hanging on the wall. The janitor in the portrait was an elderly man, his friendly smile captured in the painting. As I settled into my seat and began the test, I couldn't help but glance at the portrait from time to time. It was a peaceful image, but something about it felt off. About halfway through the test, I heard a soft, almost imperceptible whisper coming from the direction of the portrait. I strained my ears, trying to make out the words. "Help me," the voice whispered, barely audible. I looked around the room, thinking someone was playing a prank on me, but there was no one nearby. I focused back on the test, assuming it was my imagination playing tricks on me. But then it happened again. The same voice, the same plea for help. My heart rate increased as I stared at the portrait, now feeling a growing sense of unease. I had to get out of that room, but as I reached for the doorknob, I realized it was locked. Panic set in as I struggled with the door, but it refused to budge. I turned back to the portrait, and to my astonishment, the janitor's eyes no longer wore a friendly smile, but were filled with sadness. "Who are you?" I asked aloud, my voice trembling. I knew there had to be a rational explanation for this strange occurrence, and I was determined to uncover it. With a deep breath, I began to examine the room and the portrait more closely, searching for clues that would explain the mysterious voice and the locked door. I meticulously examined the portrait, my flashlight revealing a small speaker concealed behind it. The speaker looked ancient, its wires frayed, and its casing covered in dust. As I leaned in closer, I noticed faint, nearly faded signs etched onto its surface. These signs were a strange mix of symbols and letters that didn't immediately make sense to me. They seemed like hieroglyphics from some unknown language. I quickly grabbed my phone and snapped a few pictures of the symbols, hoping to decipher them later. With a pair of tweezers from my bag, I carefully removed the speaker. As I did, a thin wire was revealed, leading to a small concealed compartment in the wall. My heart raced as I opened the compartment and found a stack of old handwritten notes, faded and yellowed with age. The notes were cryptic, filled with references to a series of events and places within the school. There were mentions of hidden doors, secret passages, and peculiar occurrences. It was as if the notes were a record of someone's experiences within the school, and they hinted at a deeper mystery. I couldn't help but wonder if the janitor in the portrait had left behind these clues. The more I read, the more I felt compelled to continue the investigation. These findings were not just a result of a prank or a technical glitch. They were a trail of breadcrumbs leading to a long-buried secret. Determined to uncover the truth, I decided to follow the leads provided by the notes, embarking on a journey that would take me through the hidden corners of the school and into the heart of a mystery that went far beyond anything I could have imagined. The investigation had led to a dramatic confrontation between me, law enforcement, and the janitor. We closed in on him, our hearts pounding, ready to bring him to justice. But just when we thought we had him cornered, he managed to slip through our custody in a daring and unexpected manner, leaving us stunned and frustrated. For a brief moment, it seemed like he had disappeared from our lives. I felt a mix of relief and frustration, hoping that he was gone for good. But then, time passed, and an unsettling realization settled in. The janitor hadn't given up. He had gone underground, biding his time, plotting his revenge. I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched, of lurking danger just out of sight. Paranoia consumed me as I constantly looked over my shoulder, fearing the janitor's return, wondering when and how he would strike next. This story was discovered within the pages of Emily Johnson's diary on June 12, 1995, at her residence in the small town of Willowbrook. It was found by law enforcement during their investigation into Emily's case, offering a chilling glimpse into the events leading up to her disappearance and the unresolved mystery that still haunts us.